Hello lovelies, in this video the brilliant Dr. Edwards is going to take you through the very important reasons that we need to maintain biodiversity. So this is the lovely topic if it comes up in the exam, so please make careful notes on this one.
Reasons for maintaining biodiversity. So there are quite a few reasons that we should be maintaining or conserving biodiversity. The first one is a group of reasons that come under the theme of ecological reasons. And the main idea with this group is that obviously more diverse ecosystems are more stable and they're more able to cope with environmental change. So if we stop reducing biodiversity and make sure that wild ecosystems are supported, then they'll be better able to cope with the environmental changes that are happening due to climate change. In some ecosystems, there are really specific species known as keystone species. And if they are removed or if the numbers of them drastically decrease, there's going to be a really great impact on the ecosystem and the habitat. So they regulate often the habitat that they live in. They provide some kind of service, or they help to regulate how the habitat functions, as well as being part of food chains as well. So if these species are affected, then you can really have a great impact on large areas of habitat and the ecosystem that is there. Many genetic resources can still also be discovered in new species. So a lot of focus currently is on tropical plants, looking at their potential activity as medicines, and also thinking about kind of wild forms of crop plants that may contain genes that have been selectively bred out, but these could help improve the crop plant's resistance to the environmental changes or other things like pests and other diseases. So we can't risk decreasing the biodiversity of a load of these species, especially if they're undiscovered, because then we're going to lose out on these genetic resources that can be really helpful to us in the future. So the next group of reasons all fall under the theme of economic reasons. One of the main drivers of maintaining and conserving biodiversity, especially in highly biodiverse areas, is ecotourism. So ecotourism, people traveling from all over the world to come and look at animals, wildlife, or even just beautiful habitats, provides incomes and jobs in those countries. And especially if these habitats are unique or the wildlife can only be found in that country. These obviously need to be conserved so we can make sure that the income, the jobs, the money that people rely on from these habitats continues to come in. Ecosystems provide us with many natural resources that are traded around the world. So they provide income to those countries, especially if they're plants or crop plants that can only be grown in certain countries, and they're then traded around places in the rest of the countries that can't grow them. So things like tropical fruits, cotton, wood for timber, so wood for building materials, all of these are resources from plants, and they will be grown in certain places around the world, but needed in other places around the world, so they provide an income for those countries through trade. We need to maintain natural ecosystems because they provide services that benefit humans, and many of these services impact food production. For example, we need obviously to maintain bee populations because we need them to pollinate various plants, but especially crops, as well as nutrient cycling. So that is a process obviously through decay and also through things like nitrogen fixation that help to replenish the soil after crops have been harvested. So if you just kept growing crops, harvesting them, growing crops and harvesting them without allowing natural processes to re-nutrify and kind of repurpose the soil, then we have what's called soil depletion. And it will get to a point where it's very dusty, very dry, and the soil erosion can occur. And then over time, we're not going to have that nutrient-rich soil in order to grow the crops. And finally, we have the aesthetic, social, and moral reasons for maintaining biodiversity. So the aesthetic reasons are to do with obviously how nature looks and having these beautiful landscapes that bring joy and inspiration to people. So they should be protected for these aesthetic reasons to make sure that we have these beautiful areas of landscape. Many people enjoy being in nature and socializing outdoors, and it can be really beneficial to people's mental and physical health and their general well-being. So making sure that we maintain that so that people can still enjoy it is really important. And finally, probably the most important one is that morally, we as a species have an obligation to conserve ecosystems for future generations and also to conserve and protect the animal species that we share this planet with. So we don't have any particular right to destroy land and habitat and destroy species and cause extinction just because we are the most intelligent species on this earth. We have to share the space with them. And so morally, we shouldn't be contributing to this decline in biodiversity.
Ouch! This is why in some videos I explain scratches.